Welcome back to another episode of Graps and Yaps. This is your go-to podcast for everything that is pro wrestling. We are going to recap everything that's happened inside and outside of the ring from the last week. And whether you are a lifelong fan like us or somehow, some way, you're just a victim of the wrestling algorithm, we appreciate you for being here. We hope you enjoy. I'm Phil Fresh, one half of the show, and astute listeners of the show would know that Tony Free last week, he said, I'm out. Just for 1 week. He's not out completely, but he said, I'm going to be on a plane next week. I said, bet. So it means I had to find a tag partner this week, a mystery tag partner this week. And it's only fitting that I found someone who knows what it's like to be in a legit tag match. He steps into the ring. By the time you hear this, it'll be tonight at Liberty Hall. It's part of PWA, The Climb. Welcome back to Graps and Yavs. I'm excited about this one. We got Lachy McIntyre. Lachy, thank God you're here.
Good to be here, bro. Very excited. Tony Free, I'm out. I'm not out too. I'm acknowledging my Phil Fresh chief.
Hey!
So I'm all about whatever you need, man. Right hand man, I'll crash out if you need me to crash out. I'll whatever you need.
Yeah, all right. So you kind of like the Jacob Fatu of Graps and Yaps, is what you're saying.
I've been confused for Jacob Fatu on many occasions in my life, so that's probably an accurate way of reading it.
I hear that. Yeah.
I'll be walking down Cronulla Mall and people are like, is that WWE wrestler Jacob Fatu?
Like, it happens so often.
It's actually Cronulla's very own Lachlan McIntyre. Sorry about that. But it happens a lot.
It's that Tobey Maguire meme where he's like the blurred vision and then you like scratch your eyes like, oh no, that is Lachy McIntyre.
Again, with the Spider-Man memes, it's just me and Jacob Fatu pointing at each other.
Oh. Hey man, well look, you as I said, you will be in a match as part of PWA The Climb, a tag match, The Influence. You and Carter have held it down. You guys got a little thing going on between you two, and you've also got a thing going on between Mana and Manush. Now I'll be honest, man, this is Graps and Yaps is a pro Mana and Manush. No offense. I thank you for being here, but I gotta be real. We are a very pro Mana and Manush podcast here. What's the game plan? I know you don't want to give too much away, but I mean, how you feeling about the match? What's the game plan? How do you feel about those boys? Tell me everything.
Man, I'm happy to give away the entire game plan because those guys are so bad at wrestling that even if you lay out the entire plan in front of them, they'll still mess up. I could stand in the middle of the ring and say to Elf Nation, I'm going to punch you in the face with my right hand in 3, 2, and he won't duck. He'll dive towards it. So I'm not too worried about them, to be honest. I think they just got upset because I was the biggest star coming out of the Rumble. I stole the spotlight. I also threw out their little friend, Shay Cassidy.
I remember that, actually.
Yeah, I think I vividly remember the crowd cheering when I did that. There was a loud cheer. Everyone said, woo, when I did that, which was very exciting. And now they just got personal with it. They put out a little video where they were both in the shower together.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. Hey man, that's how you build chemistry. That's how you build, a relationship there.
I mean, I'm sure the Hardy Boys showered together because they are indeed siblings. But I don't know if you went down the list of greatest tag teams, do you think the Dudley Boys showered together?
Well, I mean, you can't forget Spike Dudley, and maybe there wouldn't be enough space for the three of them. You know what I mean?
They definitely bathed Spike Dudley like a little baby when he was.
Yeah,
they thought he was
Spike Dudley came in at the end. It was like Bubba and Devon, and then they said, "All right, we're done. Spike, get in here."
Spike Dudley ran so James Ellsworth didn't have to take any bumps ever.
They could, honestly, I'm surprised that they didn't go that way. They could have just palmed it off as a distant relative.
Dude, Ellsworth was Spike Dudley without taking any bumps.
Can we talk about this? Because literally from day one that we have met, or day one that I've known you, you always bring up James Ellsworth. Why is that?
He's such an enigma.
That is a word that I don't think anyone's used to describe James Ellsworth as.
Well, it's one of those. He's such a Vince McMahon goes, that's hilarious. That's such a Vince McMahon. Like, because you hear about these stories of how like rigorous the training is. There's that famous story KO tells about like after the first tryout, I was about to throw up. This is a guy who's doing 30-minute matches in ROH. But then what Ellsworth got through those workouts? He's a pretty good comedy character, but I don't. No disrespect to the L Dog, but I don't see him getting through those workouts. And then they're like, he's got it. So I don't know. It's one of those
short-lived.
You can have all these standards in WWE, and you're like, you got to do this. But if Vince McMahon just looks at you and goes, hilarious, then you're in. That's why I find it so funny that that segment is like AJ, KO, Randy, Shane McMahon, Braun Strowman, and James Ellsworth,
Yeah.
and Chris Jericho. James
Yeah.
Ellsworth is like the main thing you remember. Roman Reigns is in that segment. James Ellsworth is the main thing you remember. That's why he's so,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That face to face before, was it Survivor Series? Yeah. And he's like, who the hell is that?
You want to happen, small child?
Yeah. We got a lost child at ringside. Yeah, fire out, man. That is a classic segment, man. Hey, maybe, I mean, I don't know if is he still running? Like, is he still going to run?
I think he's like doing the Maven thing. I think he's active on socials and
Is
talks
he?
about that. Yeah, but I mean, to bring it back, I think a lot of people look at Alpha Nation as sort of the James Ellsworth of PWA.
A lot of people?
A lot of people. Most people, the majority of people I've spoken to. Actually, every person I have spoken to. I haven't spoken to every person in the world, but every person I've spoken to, had said that Elf Nation is the James Ellsworth of PWA. You can quote that. But yeah, we're going to be fighting them tonight, August 28th at Liberty Hall. It'll be nice. It'll be nice to just teach them how to wrestle. I'm sure a lot of Marley and Phoenicians' families will be in the crowd. So, thanks, guys.
Wow.
And Marley, you have cheated your last two.
Hey, man, listen. All right. I'm just going to, again, just for the people listening, this is a pro Mana Manush podcast. So whatever Lochy says, I didn't say it. Just remember that he said it, I didn't say it. But anyways, let's get into some wrestling. I'm glad that you're here, Lochy. We haven't had a proper yap in a minute. So let's start with some outside the ring news. And man, this legit happened after we dropped last week's episode. And we were like, damn. Because last week's episode, we're kind of like, there wasn't really too much that happened. Then obviously something big happens after the fact. But last week, it was announced that Ilja Dragunov, his contract with WWE is set to expire. And by all reports, it's looking like he's going to be out of the company. There was also there was some more names or, people saying there's more names to come, some names discussed. But let's talk about Ilja Dragunov, because we were like, we haven't seen this guy in ages and we weren't too sure if he was hurt or if there was like visa issues, but seems like this is the yarn.
Waiting for the neck tattoo to heal.
Oh my God. It's been that long since I've seen him that I forgot about the neck tattoo. Ilja Dragunov, he's been in the company for so long, like, do you think that this is something that they fumbled? Are they going to regret this? How did you feel about it when you heard the news?
I don't think they're going to regret it, because even in the time that he's been away, it's not like we're sitting here chanting his name or waiting for him to come back. Honestly, I hadn't even seen that many people fantasy booking him and stuff. I think he's great.
Damn.
I think he was the victim of that period of time where you could be booked perfectly in NXT, usually by Triple H or like early Shawn Michaels days, but they didn't know what to do with you once you got to the main roster. And they didn't realize, hey, your startup power is not just going to be transferable immediately, nor are they going to treat you that way. I think they're getting way better at it now, because a lot of them are getting pushed straight into the mid card. Like you see Fatal Influence, the way they've gone from running NXT, being at the top of it, and now the way that they're put in to the tag belts, US title picture. That's a way you get them in without just being like, well, they come and they beat someone in the main event for the world title and it's over. Like, where else do you go from there? Like, you can still build them up, get the audience to get to know them. But I think Ilja might have been a victim of that back in the day, where he was the first person to beat Walter for the European Championship, and then, or whatever they called it over there,
the UK
NXT UK, yeah. And then I think he was still. I think it's hard for them because he was this like wrestling machine. But again, not to sound like Vince McMahon, but I think his size, when you have other people like a Gunther or a Brock Lesnar, especially in the Rumble, I don't think that did him any favors, where he's chopping Brock and Brock roars in his face like it's.
Was that the last time we saw him?
I think
it might have been, right?
Yeah, and I remember watching that going, God, I don't think anyone gets buried, but fuck, that felt like a bit of a burial.
Because the go was what? Like, he was chopping Lesnar in the corner and Lesnar kind of like no-sold it and just chucked him over?
Yep. I'm pretty sure and then he grabs him around the throat and just eliminates him, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, it's one of those things where he was great as a US champ. His matches were great. He's putting on basically indie matches. They're so sick. It's work rate, but he also sells the emotion and makes you feel something, which I think that's always the criticism of like great independent wrestlers is that they don't do the emotional side or the storytelling side well, whereas he does that amazingly. But I always think for the longest time, he would have been a bit of a Sami Zayn case where he would be in the mid card for a long time. And then when he does get that well-deserved world title shot, it's not going to be for down the road. And people are pretty impatient. And I think wrestlers are pretty impatient. They see it. So I don't know. He probably sees that like, I could do this. I could stay for ages, but I'm not going to reach my full potential for a long time. So I think he was always great. He was never bad. It's a loss because you're losing a good wrestler, but I don't think WWE is missing anything with him gone.
When he debuted on the main roster, it was like after WrestleMania. Maybe it was WrestleMania 40, I can't remember. But I was familiar like of his name. I wasn't really familiar with his work. Like I kind of knew that he had beaten Walter in NXT and he was a champion for some time, but I didn't really watch him work. But when he came to the main roster on Raw and he had a couple matches, like I was like from the jump, like I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like this guy's like, he's so intense and he's just like so like captivating when he's like, you know, he's pointing down like the barrel of the camera and he's just in the ring, or the moves that he's hitting. What was his finisher? That was the H-bomb?
I think that's one of the sickest moves.
That is like that is a legit finisher. Like you could see someone hit that on someone on the street and you're like, oh yeah, they're dead. Like
yeah,
it's a legit finisher. So I was like impressed from the jump. And then, you know, he got the United States title and that was dope. But then, yeah, after a while, like, I mean, he lost it to Sammy. He didn't really do too much after. He was kind of like doing stuff with Carmella Hayes. But yeah, I have to agree. I do think that unfortunately he is just a victim of that Vince kind of dynamic where you're like, oh, like, he's cool, but when you put him next to a Brock Lesnar, I mean, who are you going to watch more?
Who are you sad that he won't face now? Because there's like, what matches would you have liked to have seen him in or feuds? Like, I mean, now that Chad Gable's got the IC title, that would have been pretty incredible to watch those.
I mean, they could have ran back the Gunther stuff though.
Yeah,
I think that's probably, but it might have just been that, like off the top of my head.
But would you? I have this weird thing with Gunther where they're almost using him as like talent to elevate everybody else right now, which he's not that old. Like, dude, you should be having him destroy everyone right now. Like, he's not been in WWE that long considering some of the other people. I feel like a lot of the people they're throwing to him are like, hey, elevate this person. It's like, no, he should just be beating people and winning feuds. He should be similar booking to Roman like 5 years ago. Like, have people come up, but have him swap them down pretty quickly.
My theory with how Gunther's being portrayed right now is like they're like getting him to like actually develop some character. Like, not that he didn't have any before, but like I just think what he's doing now, because he's kind of in this limbo where he's like kind of in the title picture, but not really, and he's doing other stuff outside of it. But I think in my theory is like, yeah, they're like, you gotta like, you know, because he's been a lot more smug and he's been a lot more arrogant. And I think in my mind, they're like, you got to like develop this and let the people know that this is your type of guy. But also, let's not forget that you could kill someone. You could legit just choke someone out. So that's my theory with that. But yeah, going back to the earlier stuff, I'm like, that probably would be the only few that I feel like would have been dope to see, you know, on a PLE or maybe even WrestleMania or one of those sorts. But, man, I don't think he's going to be out of a job, you know. Yep. He could go to Japan. I mean, AEW is just around the corner. Like, I think whatever he does is going to be dope. And I'm sure, I also don't think that we won't ever see him back in the WWE again. Like, I reckon there is a time where he will come back and, you know, maybe things look a little bit better for him. But yeah, big shock. And then, yeah, I mean, more names to come. And like, I don't really want to like, you know, create a rumor, you know, but you know, maybe that's something that we'll talk about. We'll see what happens as time goes on. Speaking of someone that, you know, which is Ilja leaving the company, someone just entering a company, Avery Styles, AJ Styles' son. He just signed to TNA. Are you familiar with any of his ring work. I don't know, he hasn't got much, but I have seen clips.
I've seen bits and pieces, but not heaps on old Avery.
Did you see this promo that he cut on Lockdown?
Yeah, did people have issues with it recently? Was that what came up?
So I watched it the other day, and you're a ball knower. So if I say this, I reckon you're going to get it. Do you remember the Michael McGillicuddy promo from NXT?
Yeah.
This is the genesis. This is this beginning moment from now. Like that spec.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and to be fair, like this is probably the first time he's ever cut a promo, let alone, I mean, this is on TV, let alone full stop. It felt very, this is the beginning, the genesis of McGillicuddy. Like, I was watching and be like, oh, God.
We're about to do good lucha things.
That's legit. Yeah, it was kind of like, you got to watch it. But, yeah, look, Avery Styles, look, from what I've seen, like, in the very, short clips, I don't think he's got too many matches under his belt. Dude, he already knows. I mean, when you're born into when you have when your dad is AJ Styles, one of the greatest wrestlers to ever live, he kind of knows his way around the ring. He can only get better. But my question is to you, will Avery Styles be another Nympho baby?
Of course, and he should be. He should be. He absolutely. I think the thing he has working in his favor is a lot of these like second generation wrestlers come from guys who have already had full careers and then retired and probably been in the Hall of Fame, and then their kid comes along and then they're going, I'm doing the same thing my dad did. It's like, well, we just got 40 years of that. We're like not starving for more. Whereas AJ's retirement, I think a lot of us were like, oh, I had like a couple more years of AJ in me. I wasn't ready for him to go. So I think, because initially I was like, oh, similar gear, using the name, even like Avery, AJ, like it's all just like, are you just doing your dad's thing? I think he should at first. I think he should. If that's going to get you in the door and that's what's going to sell tickets, you could be a guy with 3 matches. If your name is Avery Styles and people are buying tickets because of you, and there's guys who are main eventing, have been doing the indies for ages, you're already a bigger draw. And all he has to do now is develop upon that. Like, I think you can be a Nepo baby in wrestling, and I think they love it because we love nostalgia. So why would every time, when Seth wore the polka dots against Cody, we were like, that's his dad. That's his dad. So I think as long as he goes on with his career, he's able to like evolve, and it's not just him doing it forever. But for now, if you got something that that works and people are still wanting, and people probably didn't get their fill of AJ Styles when he retired, go for it. Go for gold. And it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be nostalgic. Yeah, I think there's certain ones where, like fuck, the Usos were coming out in tribal paint and doing the haka.
Right.
And now they've evolved. And then they've evolved.
It's a tale as old as time, man. We've seen it. So the Usos is a good example. We've seen it with Cody Rhodes,
He's getting walked to the ring
Charlotte.
by his dad.
Huh?
He was getting walked to the ring by his dad.
Dominic Mysterio, and look how different he is now. To when he debuted. It's a tale as old as time,
and it works to your favor, especially with Dom. You go, that's my dad. I'm so much like my dad, and that gives you a launch pad to turn heel or completely evolve your character and do something different. Dom Mysterio wouldn't be the big bad guy if he wasn't already running around in the Rey Mysterio trunks when he first got there.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, Zillafar 2 just made his debut, and obviously the Nympho Baby reference was to that. Mm-hmm. What do you see? What do you make of it? He's only been there for like 2 or 3 weeks. He's got a match this weekend at NXT Heatwave. So far, what's your review, your temperature check on Zillafar 2?
I think great. I think it's unfortunate for him he's coming to NXT at the same time that Grayson Waller is able to go scorched earth on anyone with a microphone. And the worst thing you could have possibly done in your first 2 weeks in NXT is have a slip up.
Yep.
Saying Nympho Baby, because Grayson's going to run with that. But I think he's great. Like, I've seen, like everyone, all the videos on the independent scene, the Superman Spike. Just the way he moves is so terrifying because he's so big.
How old is he? Let me look that up.
I think he's like our age. I'm pretty sure he's quite young. And then the tattoos, like on the neck, he looks like he genuinely looks like when Jacob Fatu got him. One of the very few wrestlers that you go, I'm proper scared of this person.
Yeah.
So I think he's been great. Again, he's
26 years old, by the way.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I think he's going to develop heaps. I I'm excited to see what he goes with his ring gear because his ring gear was very similar to the Usos when he was on the Independents. I
Right.
wonder if they'll make him change that a bit. But dude, it's one of those wrestlers I've wanted to come in for so long. I was fantasy booking him for War Games for like 3 years in a row. Um,
Well, it's coming up.
yeah, I mean, so I sometimes think like debuting people in NXT takes a little bit of the air out of the room because you could have got a bigger pop in on the main roster, but it's probably the right place for him to start. Like if you sink or swim in NXT, especially in that main event roster, but I love it. I think he's great. I think he's going to be great for a long time.
I think that's the question of this, like right now. I know he's only been here very shortly, but the question is now, like, how long until he gets inserted into this bloodline story, which I think is like fun in itself. Like, I actually can't wait to see when he gets in there, how he gets in there, who, like, does it. But yeah, look, that'll happen down the road. Let's get into a recap of the week, everything that happened inside the ring. And last week, we had a WWE Championship match between CM Punk and Kevin Owens, which I thought, man, going into it, you're like, this is going to be a dope match. I think sitting there watching, I was like, yep, this is a dope match. And the finish, man, they almost got me. I don't know if they got you, but I was like, oh, they're actually going this way. Sami Zayn, however, gets involved, and well, it seemingly was him helping his friend, turns into him setting up his friend, and CM Punk ends the show as the champion. But with Sami Zayn kind of taking out both of these guys, what do you think of the match, and also that near fall? What do you think of that?
I think you've got CM Punk and KO in a feud that sometimes you're sitting there going, I don't know if this is actually real.
You're like, should I be here?
And then you're with a Canadian crowd and Punk being able to lean into being a heel for the
let's
first
talk
time
about
in
that.
3-4 years.
Yeah.
And I think there was one bit where he just rolls out of the ring and he's just goading the crowd. And I was like, oh, he's going full heel for this. This is great. So, I mean, the match was always going to be amazing, and it was amazing. The near fall, fully thought it was happening.
Dude,
thought it was happening.
It was that close. Like, even like Punk, that is one of probably the closest falls that I've ever seen in my life.
Sometimes you watch those near falls, and I swear, I'm like, that had to be 3. They had to reverse time and then put his arm up. There's no way they got up.
That's AI.
That's AI. But dude, there was one. I think Punk sold one of the stunners in the most Vincent Kennedy McMahon ways I've ever seen. It was like down and then straight to the side. It was
like folded.
There was one of them, and I was like, "Come on."
Actually, a question for you, someone who's taken a bump before. How would you sell the stunner? Are you doing the rock star where you're? Oh my god, you have!
I have sold a stunner. I can try to pull up the video, but I remember having it explained to me because I was like, "Oh, this is going to really hurt. I'm going to land straight on my throat." Pulling back the curtain a bit, I think if you want to be able to take it and not hurt yourself, it's pretty much just like doing a bow. You're just bowing to somebody. That's pretty much it.
I mean, did you? Yeah.
I went with the Scott Hall cell. So I hit, and then I threw myself almost like the Austin Theory when I tried to throw myself as high in the air as I could.
Love that.
And instead of getting an ooh, I got a round of laughter. So I was like, okay, I think it looked horrible.
Was it close between that cell and like the rock cell where you like kind of does a backflip?
Dude, no, mine was straight on my back. This is also when I didn't know how to bump safely, so it was just bang, whiplash, hit my head. It was great. But I still think the best stunner cell is one we saw recently. It was a guy in the PWA Rumble. I forget his name.
Oh my god!
And he hits it, flips, lands upside down over the top rope,
hangs on the ropes.
It was incredible.
That was legit. I stood up. I remember seeing that. Be like, oh my god!
That was one of the best things. Hold on, I've got this here. I can get.
Here we go. He's pulling up tape.
This is from my my first.
And this one's for the YouTube subscribers of Craps and
so I had
Yaps.
just taken a low blow, and here's a stunner. Bang.
Wait, is that a clip of WrestleMania 18? Scott Hall and Stone Cold?
I believe that's the one.
He just pulled up a clip of that. Oh man, I always watch it and I'm like, because I think I saw maybe it was like Xavier Woods was talking about it, and they're like, one time at training we just did stunners and we just sold stunners. I was like, yeah, you know what? I think you have to take that off. But yeah, CM Punk with the Vince McMahon cell. The match was great, man. Like, and I'm glad that you brought that up. Like, he was obviously going to be the heel heading into the match in Canada, and it looked like he really enjoyed it, and he really just like, went all in on that. But the Sami Zayn of it all, however, he, get involved at the end. I kind of wasn't expecting it to be like a bit of a like dirty finish. I wasn't mad that it went that way. Obviously, Sammy's been lurking around the picture for some time, and he's injured as well. I think it's a legit injury, right? He's got like a little thing on his hand, and but I also feel like it kind of plays into this character portrayal that we're getting, where I think SmackDown started off with him going out Aldous and him being like, I can't wrestle, like I can't do it, like how can I do this if I can't wrestle? And then obviously he gets involved. Tony and I have spoken about it before, like how he's just killing this role as just being this kind of like passive aggressive fake baby face. Like how have you been finding this Sami Zayn I guess development?
I've really enjoyed it. I think the fun thing was at the start, you weren't sure if it was Sammy. If they're like, oh no, go out there and be a babyface. They're going to cheer you. And that's why he's saying, my ride or dies, my day ones. And I remember sitting there being like, dude, please go heel. Everyone is booing you. This is so embarrassing. But then you look back on it and you go, long-term storytelling. He's been doing it since the start. He wasn't trying to get you to like him. He was trying to be as annoying as possible. And it's great. It works so well. And now I think the KO Punk storyline was already so interesting. And I think there's even a chance if you have another match where it's just one-on-one, I think you have the same level of interest. I don't think it elevates it, but you add in this dynamic of Sammy. I think it makes the whole feud way more interesting. And it's so cool to see three dudes who came up on the independents like 20 years ago, and now they're going out of the top level of WWE.
Imagine saying to someone like in 2011, like, oh, like, in 15 years time, there's going to be a feud for the WWE Championship between CM Punk, Kevin Steen, and El Generico. I'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? You said something that so I think, adding the Sami Zayn to this picture, like, does make it way more interesting, because I feel like, and it was only 2 or 3 weeks of build, but the Kevin Owens and CM Punk stuff, it felt like they already, like, kind of addressed everything. They kind of hit all the points that, like, were dragging, you were getting, that, like, feud, that heat from. And I felt like they kind of, like, had already said everything. So I didn't know if there was, like, any more to, like, unpack there. But I do think with Sami Zayn in there, it's just going to add a whole new, more fuel to the fire, if you will. So, yeah, I'm keen to see how that goes, and how long we're going to be getting it for. I mean, they could ride this storyline out until the end of the year, until Royal Rumble even. So, keen to see how that one goes. Let's talk about Raw and how that ended. Kind of I didn't see it coming at all. I don't know if you did as well, but
nope.
It was meant to be a tag match. LA Knight and Solo Sikoa, who have been just killing it whenever they're on the TV, had a match with the Usos in the main event. It ends in no contest because we see the return of Royce Keys, taking out both Jay and Solo. But he also comes in with NXT's OTM, Lucien and Bronco. And for a bit there, I was kind of like, I know who these guys are, but I don't know who these guys are. And they basically wipe out everyone. LA Knight, Jimmy as well. Didn't see this coming. I mean, you just said you didn't either, Lachy.
Yeah, I mean, that moment, because I didn't know who they were. But when they said, these are these people, I'm like, well, they're probably wrestlers in NXT. And I was like, I hate when people are like, I have no idea who they are. Then watch, they're showing you, they're telling you who they are. They're telling you that they're two huge dudes. They're aligned with Royce Keys, and they're willing to put people through tables. That's who they are. You can learn their names afterwards. And I think they did that dude, the T-pose powerbomb through the...
Oh, man.
Gee.
What about the full rotation with, like, they did with LA Knight? I was so scared. I was like, oh, my God.
I thought that was going to be one of those finishing moves you'll see at an independent show, where it's like, man, we're going to swing you all the way around, and then inertia is going to take you, and you're going to... I was like, this is one of those bumps that no one should be taking. And they caught him on their shoulders. I was like, oh, thank God. And then it's just like, a pretty regular back bump. But
yeah,
I thought they looked great. I think it's... Yeah, Royce Keys' character when he came in, like, especially if you listen to that Stephanie McMahon podcast, his life and his background is so interesting and where he came from. And I think having him just go out there with just Kurt Angle wrestling tights on, while he's got this like such character about him, and having these guys align with him, I think that reinforces who he is. And I think it's going to be great. And they are. I just hope that it's not another AOP situation, because those dudes are huge.
They're
They look
ginormous.
sick. Hopefully, I don't know. It's this weird thing where you get these really big dudes and you have to put them together, and that somehow makes them weaker when they're in a tag team. Whereas if you just have like a Braun Strowman by himself, I think he was never scarier than when he had left the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that was cool.
Dude, I mean, Royce Keys debuted at Royal Rumble this year, so he's still kind of in his first year, his rookie year in WWE. But I felt like, for even like when he was doing the stuff with LA Knight and Solo, and you know, he had his run-ins with Jacob Fatu, like even then, I still wasn't like invested. Like there was nothing there for me to go, oh, you know, this is dope, or it was kind of like, okay, cool. But I think this has like, I've bought into this. I'm like, oh, okay, now we have something. We have, you know, there's some character there. I also loved Michael Cole saying, they grew up in the streets of Oakland.
They're from the hood. As soon as he said hood, I was like, no.
I was like, okay, Michael.
And
okay,
hailing from the ghetto.
Yeah, it felt very much, these guys are thugs. I was like, okay, Michael, relax.
That boy bouncy.
Yeah, even when Graves does, you know, when Javon wrestles, he's like, we outside. I'm like, guys. Right, hey, just get Booker T in the commentary desk, man. Yeah. Get him in.
Oh.
But Keys and OTM, OTM, I have seen like very little of their work, but I kind of recognize, I'm like, I think I've seen these guys before. But I'm excited to see how it goes down and just like what they're like on the mic as well, because obviously, you know, they left an impression just, you know, with their work in the ring. But when it comes to the mic, and even Royce Keys as well, like, you know, you're like, who's going to be the voice of this? Are they going to get more people added? I mean, what do you think about that?
God, I hope that they let them talk, because that's the downfall of so many of these like background henchmen in stables, is that they're just like, they're big and they're tough.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to know for the next 6 months. Whereas like you look at a lot of the female stables, like Fatal Influence, each one of them, every time they come to the ring, a different one of them's got the mic. It'll be mostly JC, but for the they'll switch it around.
They're great.
You get to know all of them as characters. So I just hope they do that. Like having a moment where, you know, if it's Jimmy coming out cutting a promo and then just one of the guys from OTM comes out and you go, oh, I'm getting to learn about this person. A detail that isn't just he stands behind Royce and hits people when he says. So I hope they get to explore their characters more. But I think it'll be sick, and I love it. It makes me think of like early SmackDown days when you have feuds like this, where it isn't just one person versus one person. It's like this person has a bit of a group, this person has sort of friends like LA and Solo, and then you've got this other dynamic where Royce hates all of them, but he's got this friendship with Jacob, and it's so much more realistic than just I want to fight you, you want to fight me.
I don't like you.
It makes more sense, and instead of just like matches being interrupted or disqualified because of, oh no, our guy's losing, hit him with a chair. You've got people completely separate from these two groups coming in. And I think that dynamic has been lacking a bit, because it has been a lot of like big dream feuds of Seth Roman, Punk Roman, Punk Cody, and now you're getting these like, all right, let's throw everyone in, see who stands out. And LA Knight and Solo have stood out for the crowd.
Dude, I'm glad that you brought that up, because I was kind of, you know, I was like, oh, cool, they made an impact, but it was also kind of like, wait, why does he have beef with Solo and LA Knight? Like, you know, he got taken out by Jacob. Like, I can understand why he's got beef with the Usos, but I don't really get why he's got, you know, what's the angle between LA Knight and Solo? But again, it just creates, you know, it's so more realistic. You're like, I mean, why not though? Like, you know, he got borderline, you know, whooped by Jacob Fatu, which is a whole nother thing too, because Jacob wasn't there. And it's interesting, it's going to be interesting to see like that dynamic and like, you know, whether he's at play, whether he's kind of behind it all. You know, obviously he's been backstage and kind of like making fun of Jay, but like also answering to Roman. So yeah, there's a lot of elements around that, but we'll see. You know, it does make for some, you know, exciting storytelling, because it is a little bit more realistic. Let's move on to a match that'll happen this week on SmackDown with implications for Sunday night's main event in Atlanta. Now, Tony, I don't think has been on the Lil Yachty boat, pun intended. I have been. I don't think you have been, Lucky. You're kind of not rocking with the Lil Yachty of it all, but we get to see him in the ring, which I think was the biggest thing for the naysayers. They're like, well, I need to see him in a match. Let me see him take a bump. Well, it's happening this weekend, Lucky.
Yeah, I didn't think he was doing a whole lot when he first got there. Like, I think it was great to have him come into the ring with Trick, but then after that, it's like he was just sort of there doing ad-libs during Trick's entrance for a while, and I was like, great, I need him to do more. I need him to be... And then once they gave him the kendo stick, I was like, okay, this could lead somewhere. But then it was just every week just hitting people with a kendo stick with kind of no repercussions. I like there's now repercussions. And I like that there's a reason for him being there and there's stakes. That I think people forget about stakes so much of like, if you lose this match, what is the severity of it? And it's going to cost Trick a chance at the title and it could cost them the friendship. So I think it's great now that you have stakes and adding a timed element to it is going to be so exciting because you're going to be enthralled for the entire thing and you're going to be watching that countdown. It's why people are so enamored by the Rumble. So I think it's going to be a great escape. It's going to be fantastic. And I think when you're given 5 minutes, it's so hard to make a bad match, no matter who's in there. So I think whatever it is, I think it's actually going to be money. As much as I've not enjoyed Yachty in WWE, I think this is going to be sick.
To be honest, I mean, as a fan of his work, I did feel like towards the end, the last few weeks was kind of like, okay, I think this has kind of run its course. We've kind of seen everything. Having this come up, and like you said, it's 5 minutes, so you just have to sit there for 5 minutes. Like, you don't have to wait and see what happens next. It's like, all right, I've locked myself in for 5 minutes. What do you think is the craziest move that Lil Yachty could bust out in these 5 minutes? Or do you reckon he's just going to be running around for 5?
I reckon it's going to be 3.5 minutes of Corbin beating him down, and you're going to go, oh my God, the time is running out. I think there's going to be an end of days into like a DDT or a head scissors.
Oh, Jesus.
And then I think Corbin's going to roll out. Yachty will do a jump off the top rope, go for another move. That gets countered. Corbin goes to go off the ropes or something while ref is distracted. Trick does something. And then Yachty either gets a roll up and that's how it happens.
That's the whole match. Oh, we're going to clip this and we're going to see if this happens. You
Put
just book the whole thing. Yeah. Dude, we might have to. All right, I'm going to get to work this weekend when it goes down. Baron Corbin, though. Honestly, when he came back in, I was like, I actually... How do I describe this, man? I do enjoy his work. I think that he is someone that's kind of like, he's safe. Like, he knows what to do. He knows how to get here. He does the job. He knows where to be and what to say. But are you rocking with him? I don't know if that's like the general consensus. I think I'm in a minority here.
I think I actually am, because I look back at especially his stuff that he did in the tag with Bron Breakker back in NXT.
Yes.
I'm like, you've let him talk, you've let him have personality. And even now, I don't think they're letting him do that as much because they're making him just be the big bad heel. And he can't really get in a bunch of cool lines because that's Trick's job in this feud. But I reckon you could give him more time. This is a comparison heaps of people will push back on. He kind of reminds me of late stage Kane. In the sense that, like, it's a heel you can put with anyone. He looks big, so it's hard to overcome, but it's not like impossible to beat him. But it still matters when you do.
Yeah, he's valid. Like, you can be like, okay, that's believable. Like, yeah, why can't he win?
He's a good base. He's really safe. So I think he's one of those guys that now WWE will keep around for a long time, because I don't think he is sitting here like, I need to be a world champion. I need to be a top. I think he's like, I can run the mid card, be a bit of a gatekeeper. And you know what? He might have a Solo Sikoa moment where everyone starts chanting his name and then they push him, give him a title run at one point. I don't know.
It's possible.
Something. But for now, I think the more he does this, the more people will appreciate his work of putting up this babyface talent. And eventually, they might chant his name and then they'll give him a little run. Like, because who would have thought Solo was dead in the water a year ago?
Yeah.
Was it there was some Rumble where he came in and was eliminated like straight away in like the last couple of years, and I was like, oh, he's done. But then you have him being himself a little bit more. The crowd sees it, they start chanting his name, and now he's elevated. That's all it
Now
takes.
he's there. He's that guy. Yeah. It's funny that you compared Corbin to Kane because, I mean, he's got a bike now. So it's funny to see that that wasn't the comparison.
Yeah.
Was American Badass Undertaker. Yeah, I agree with everything you said, man. I'm rocking with Corbin, and I think, yeah, he's just going to be, he's just safe, I think. That's like a lock in for him. Speaking of SmackDown, though, I want to talk about Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. There's a match set for Sunday night's main event. Those two went head to head on the mic. Nick Aldis laying it down, saying, if you guys lay a finger on each other, you guys will never get the WWE title opportunity again. But there were some interesting things being said here, and it's time for everyone's favorite game. Every week we play it. Will Cody Rhodes turn heel?
This feels like the most real indication that they've done it, because because everything else has been like he did this or he said this, but it wasn't actually a heelish thing. It's just people reading into it. This, and even when he said like, "You want me to go full Homelander?" That's just him quoting tweets people have put out. This was the first time, like him saying, "That's not a spoiler. That's not a prediction. That whatever the fuck it is." Paul Heyman's line, and that was the first time you're like, "That's intentional," and I don't think any of the others have been.
Bro, it ended the promo. That was the last thing said. So absolutely, it was intended. You're like, say that again. You know what I mean? What'd you say?
But it's that thing of like, no matter how good Cody is and how I think everything Cody does as a babyface in terms of like character work for the crowd is correct. I think people just have this, they get too much of a good thing and they turn on it.
It's like you said this earlier. Wrestling fans are impatient.
Yep.
Like they refuse to like, and I've done it before too. But you just refuse to wait. You just go, nah, hurry up, do the thing. And it's like, no, like you got to be there for the ride, man. You got to see it grow.
I think it's the same thing as when John Cena came back at Money in the Bank and everyone cheered him because everyone had collectively gone, oh, he was just always doing the right thing for the company and for us. He was always just like doing exactly what had to be done. I think people will look back on that. I think if Cody disappeared for a year, everyone would be like, please bring him back. Please bring him back.
Yeah.
But him being in this position, the sad thing is like you have Randy who's trying to be a heel going, I will bash your face in. And everyone goes, yay!
Yay!
You can't, the answer is for the crowd is to switch it. But you've also heard Cody talk about interviews all the time. He's like, before I go out there, I know it's not a home game. I think he likes that challenge because every time he starts a promo where they're all booing him, check what they're doing the last 5 seconds of the promo.
Yeah.
All cheering him. He does it every time. And
he always manages to flip him, like, you know, turn him around, and like he's the king at doing that. But yeah, this does feel like the biggest, like, I guess, showing of his hand, you know, ending the promo with that. But there was also like, you know, Randy's telling him, like, you don't have what it takes to like dig deep down and like do the things that I do. And like Cody talking about like, you know, I don't have the belt anymore. I don't have to be a good guy. You're like, there's too many things going on and it's all adding up. Does a Cody Rhodes, Paul Heyman relationship, does that interest you? And how soon do you think we'll be getting that?
I think it interests me because they're two of the best in WWE. And I wonder if it's almost like a second go at what would have been the Seth-Paul Heyman relationship. Because Seth didn't need a mouthpiece. And we only got that for a very brief period of time. So I wonder if they're going like, hey, everything we had for Seth, let's just do it with Cody. In a way.
It also just makes way more sense for Cody too. You're like, you get, first of all, they're both in suits. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's an easy, like,
needed.
So there is a relationship there. We know that they get along. They might have the same tailor.
Do you think he was foreshadowing that when he first came to WWE?
Dude, I remember seeing the invasion angle, and when Paul Heyman came out in a suit, I said, this is something that is going to happen in 2026. 25 years down the line when Cody Rhodes was still in high school. I said, this is something we need to remember, guys.
I think a lot of people, something they miss is when Brock Lesnar won his first world title.
Yep.
Paul Heyman was holding it. That belt was gold. Cody's brother Gold Dust.
Okay.
Dude, that was right in front of us the entire time.
Yeah, and it was a bit dusty in the arena when it happened as well. Do you remember that?
And what do you drive on to get to the arena?
What's that?
Roads.
Let's talk about what happened on Raw. The future of WWE.
Yeah.
This has been going on for maybe the last 3 weeks, but I do feel like this is like a legitimate, obviously we're seeing this in storyline mode, but it is a legitimate discussion being had with people between Obafemi and Bron Breakker. Contract signing on Raw. Bron kind of says, hey, what'd you do? You haven't done anything. What'd you do? You beat Brock Lesnar? And I was kind of like, well, yeah. Yeah, twice actually. He did it 2 times, and I don't think he's coming back. Basically saying, you only got these opportunities because I was hurt. And I hurt myself. No one hurt me. I hurt myself. And I was like, I don't know if that's the flex that you want to flex. And Obafemi, man, I think he's 2 for 2 in these promos. He just basically said, you are an angry orange man. And unfortunately for you, you live in a timeline where you have to go against me. I'm starting to feel bad for Bron. Are you like this too?
He's 2. I mean, Bron's promos weren't bad, but Ober's, I didn't know he had this on the mic, because every kind of promo he's done so far was just, I am the ruler, I will put you down, Brock Lesnar. This one was crazy in terms of he ran such a fine line of not burying Bron, but letting him know I'm levels above you by saying, if you're in John Cena's era, you would have been the guy. What a compliment. If you were in the era of the big dog, you would have been the guy. What a compliment. The line, you have the unfortunate privilege. I was like, that's so good. Mm-hmm. And I think it's great because he's just like, you're really, really good. I'm still better.
Yeah, it's true.
I didn't realize he had this on the mic. He's so good. I think the stuff they're giving Bron is maybe not as good as the stuff they're giving Oba. I also think, like, as soon as you have Austin Theory run in, it makes Bron look weaker. So I think the quicker he's out of the vision, the quicker this feels like a mega feud. Because if you've got Bron there, weirdly enough, if he's got the vision standing behind him being like, we've got his back, it makes him look terrible. Especially if Oba's putting them down anyway. So I'm very excited for this. I think this is a feud we'll look back on in 10 years and go like, wow, that was the first one. Like the first time Ed and Cena went at it.
I think
so good.
Agreed. Like I think this will be like, all right, this is like phase 1, but we're going to be getting these two head to head in different ways, different iterations, like at least for the next 5 years. And I'm keen that this is like, we're here for the first step. I mean, we were talking about Heyman before. Heyman is kind of involved in this as well. To the point where like Bron, after he signs the contract, he doesn't give it back to Oba. He gives it to Paul Heyman and be like, you sign it. That's your boy, right? Like you sign it. Is there like, I mean, what's the angle here, do you think? Obviously Heyman has or Oba has earned Paul Heyman's respect and he's kind of lost Bron Breakker's. Is this like, will Heyman's involvement in Cody, will it relate to this involvement with Oba and Bron, do you think, or will they be 2 separate things?
If it does, I have no idea how they do that. But I like that without aligning himself with either one, you're getting so much emotional investment and you're getting such an emotional reaction from both guys because of Paul's involvement. Whether that's Oba, who's just like grateful, or Bron, who's crashing out. It's kind of what started all this, was just Paul going, I like you, Oba, and now Bron, we're seeing such an intense version of him. It's been my favorite Bron since he had the IC title, was the version of him that stood there saying nothing while Logan Paul and Austin Theory were doing promos. That's been my favorite part, because that was like, holy shit, he's so scary when he's just losing his mind.
Existing.
Right. Yeah.
Dude, I saw an old clip when he was maybe just before he was, and he was like cutting a promo, like walking to the ring, and he's like backstage, and when he would hit, and I swear this only lasted for like 2 or 3 weeks, when he's like, we got any dogs barking tonight in City? And everyone just loses it. I mean, bro, we were at Perth last year. Like, do you remember like after he had speared Seth, obviously the whole arena, but even afterwards, like walking out, everyone's just barking. It was so crazy. What only wrestling fans, eh?
Well, dude, the thing was, I was there in Vegas for the Raw when he joined Seth. When he came out and speared Roman, I was there for that as well.
Oh, no
I
way.
was there for the start and end. And I remember that when he speared Roman and we saw that it was Braun, I think that's been the most like peak version of him we've seen where we're like, oh no. And I think if he can get back to that, because I think that's where Oba is. Anytime Oba's music hits, you see the silhouette, you go, oh no. That used to be Braun. Every time something was going on, they'd send out the dog. I think if he can get back to that,
Hey, man.
pretty good.
It goes back to like, hey, just trust the process. Let's see where it goes. I'm excited to see how it goes down. Obviously excited to see how that match goes. Let's talk about Lucha Brothers, man. Rey Fenix, Penta. These two go head to head in the Luchador final. The winner will face the OTC for the World Heavyweight Championship in Mexico City on Raw. That is going to be insane. If that backlash from a few years ago in Puerto Rico went down, if it went down like that, I mean, I can only imagine what it's going to be like in Mexico City, right?
Put the strap on Penta. Do it.
Bro,
Do it.
I'm saying that. That's what I'm saying.
We're assuming Penta wins, right?
If there is ever a chance where like Roman can be without the belt for like a month or two, this is the chance here. There's so much going on around this bloodline story, but then also like the LA Knight stuff. And then you got like, it's kind of like, I feel like this Luchador tournament, like whether it's Ray or it's Penta, is like a blind spot for Roman. Because he's so invested in like his family business and LA Knight that he's just gonna like, oh, I've got a title match. All right, sweet, I got to do this. But I just think if there's ever a chance to do it, this would be it. I'm with that.
I was just saying because I'd love to see Penta with the title, but now I'm thinking about it. You have every reason in the world for Roman to be completely distracted during this match. Like you said,
That's what I'm
LA,
saying.
Solo, Royce.
Now you got the Royce Keys stuff.
I hadn't even thought about it that way. Interesting. I mean,
There's a lot of things.
The other school of thought that people will always bring up with Ray and Penta is just one of the brothers gets mad and turns on him or whatever. I don't think they need to. I don't think that anyone's calling for that right now. I think they're calling for them to be a tag team before they're calling for them to turn on each other. So you'd be doing it backwards. Now that I think about it, but I think the line would be you need to get LA to the world title picture. So then that's down the road. So I don't know what you do with Penta and LA, or if you just have, like they had Sammy win it, then Sammy lose it. They could do the same thing with Penta, but it'd be pretty amazing. It'd be a pretty amazing moment.
I'm saying that this could be it. I mean, on Raw in Mexico as well. Like, and Penta is that guy, man. Like ever since he stepped in, there's never a week has not gone by where I go, I don't know about Penta. I'm like, oh, Penta's starting to bore me. It's literally every week. I'm like, man, I don't think I'll ever hate this guy.
I don't think anyone does. I think kids love him.
Yeah.
Adults find him sick. I think he's still got one of the coolest entrances.
Yep.
The spinning pyro.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's anyone who thinks he's been booked wrong or booked badly.
And all of those things that you've mentioned, like that's outside of like the actual wrestling. Even when the bell rings, you're like, oh, he knows what he's doing.
So unique. Like so much of the stuff he brought in, no one does in WWE. So many new different things. It's so cool.
Yeah. I've been enjoying it. I mean, even just those matches that we had on Raw this week. Rey Fenix defeating Dragon Lee. That flip, that like cannonball to the commentary desk from Dragon Lee.
Crazy.
Dude, I don't know, man. These guys know what they're doing. And shout out to Dragon Lee too. He always, every now and then he'll just pop out and just be like, I know how to do this shit. You're like, yep.
He's one of the best in-ring workers, and probably is underappreciated because you don't get to know him as much through promos, and maybe he hasn't got that connection with the crowd yet. I think they put him with AJ to help him do that. Probably didn't happen as much as they wanted to, but his in-ring stuff, like, at least every match you watch of him, people are just gobsmacked. Because that move, you're just running as fast as you can to dive towards that announce table, and then you've just got to use your own momentum to flip yourself.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah. Going back to the Roman Reigns of it all, dude, I feel like this is a very underappreciated year for the big dog for the OTC. Obviously, he's had a very historic career. Even when he held the belt for over 1,000 days. But low key, man, the matches that he's been having this year alone, and albeit there's only been like 5 or whatever, they've been fantastic, man. I mean, that WrestleMania main event against Punk. Was it 2 matches against Jacob Fatu, one in Italy, and there was another one maybe at Backlash?
Yeah, I think so.
Were they both the same thing? SummerSlam with Seth, and then coming up in 2 weeks, either Penta or Ray. Like, that is gonna be special.
I think the reason we haven't been talking about it's probably an underappreciated year is because we've hardly heard him on the mic. It's mostly been these massive pay-per-views like him at the Rumble. And then like when he was coming up as the tribal chief, you got to know him so much and you got to be more invested in the stories because he was coming out cutting a promo every single week. And I get maybe it's like, oh, you keep your biggest star away because it creates more demand. And it's like, oh, well, we can keep him away because we know, the people know what he would have said in this case. But I think if you're the champ, you need to be out there more, talking about all this stuff.
But surely...
I think that's why it's underappreciated.
So when people say that about Roman, I'm like, dude, this has been going on for like 5 years at least. We should, by this point, we should be used to it, right? Like, we know he only shows up every now and then, and he'll be in a match every now and then. At this point, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what he does.
But the meme is real of those, like, the collages of Roman Reigns will return. And it's every 2 weeks. It's like, if he misses a Raw, dude, he could get a cold and miss a Raw, and they'll be like, Roman Reigns will return next week. I don't know. I'm a big fan of having, I know they go, it's a bigger attraction if you keep it away from people, like the same way Brock was. But I think you look the way Cody, KO, Sammy, CM Punk do it, they're there every week. It makes it more entertaining.
But I do think that he's kind of positioned himself in a way that it's like, he's kind of built it into his character. Like, even when he does like interviews outside of the WWE, he's like, hey man, when you're the tribal chief, you get to show up when you want. When you hold the belt for 1,000 days, you get to show up when you want. When I'm not there, people get their chance. The door is open when I'm gone, but when I come back, nothing changes. It's always me.
Yeah.
So he's kind of done a really good job of like working that into his character.
I think you could make that argument of like it gives other people an opportunity to have a bit of shine and have some time in front of the camera. Absolutely. My thing is, when you make the comparison of like Brock and Roman are both able to be off TV for a long time, I think Brock, because he wasn't cutting these promos all the time and you knew he would cut a great one, that you were like, well, he just comes to bash people and that's all I want. But when you know Roman is so good on the mic and you're missing out on that every week, I feel like that's my issue is I'm like,
right, okay,
we're missing out on such a great part of his skill set.
Yeah.
Because I'm more interested to hear him on the mic than wrestle, to be honest.
Especially with the dynamics of like everyone in the like now with Jacob Fatu especially as well. Like
there's so much going on that he's not talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Someone could loop him in on this or something, man. Like I feel like you're missing out on stuff that he doesn't even know.
I feel like there was every SmackDown there was a thing of him answering his phone or getting a text back in the Bloodline days. No one's texting him now. No one's got his number. All right.
D&D.
This was the end of every SmackDown episode. Big call. I was like, someone call him. I'm sick of this.
All that period of time where Paul Heyman was asking Siri to call Roman Reigns.
Dude, someone call Roman Reigns.
No, seriously though, just call him though.
Text him.
Just try. At least.
I've been Snapchatting him. He hasn't replied. Our streak is dead.
Send him a reel for once.
Someone send him a thread.
Oh man, we got to find out what Roman Reigns' screen time is. I bet it's like 10 minutes.
It's 3 seconds. It's
3 seconds. Oh my days! All right, let's go through some other bits and bobs from the week. Stephanie Vaquer, she had her first match since WrestleMania, defeating Roxanne Perez. Obviously, there's something going down between Steph, Becky Lynch, and Liv Morgan. What's your vibe check on that kind of angle there?
Great. Love the dynamic of having more than just one-on-one. I think Liv, like all three of them have all been in like kind of these feuds where they've run their course. And so they've given them this triple threat format that I think will be really great. And I think Becky moving into a new era of her character is going to be really interesting where she takes. It's a bit more serious. It's a bit more grizzled veteran now, which I think is really cool. And I think this feud, I hope Liv doesn't get lost in it because I think it's meant to elevate Steph.
Well, I actually just looked as well. I just remembered. I think there is a title match set between Stephanie and Liv on Raw. I think in that Mexico show, 2 weeks time, they've got that title match. I guess this will be the rematch since WrestleMania. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say I think Liv retains because obviously we still got Becky involved as well. But I mean that rematch will be tied. What do you reckon about Roxanne Perez? You know, obviously they kind of were planting seeds not too long ago about Roxanne and making sure she was listening to Liv. Kind of lost that, you know, in the mix the last few weeks. But what do you reckon about that? Do you reckon that's coming up later in the year?
I think it's obviously they're angling towards her having a face turn. I think it would be wrong of them to have her turn on Liv because what's going to happen? Oh, now she's going to fight Liv for the world title. She's not going to win. And then it's like, oh, okay, now what? I think the better option is her turning on Raquel because they seem to have a close relationship anyway. Even if it's something like she's been put in a fatal four-way and the whole chat in the lead-up is Roxy's there to help you retain. And then you have this where she's like helping clear house and then Roxy wins it. I think that is more interesting where you've got Raquel and Roxy feuding and it's a distraction for Liv and then that gives her a reason to lose the title to a Becky or a Steph at some point. I don't think it's because like when Sammy turned on Roman back in the day, it was like, oh, now Sammy's getting his chance against Roman and then he gets beat by Roman. And it's like, what do we do now?
And then we...
So I hope if she does turn, it's a turn on Raquel because I think that would actually be more personal.
How about last week we found out finally we got it confirmed, validated, what the MFTs actually stood for.
I actually missed this, so this is going to be news to me as well. Go on.
Okay, well, we obviously Haku is back in the picture. He's talking to his sons, Tamatonga and Tolatonga. And he basically goes, now that we've got the belts, it's time to show them who the real motherfucking Tongans are. Like, legit just drops that. And everyone's like, oh! Hey, listen, and you know what? And the thing about Haku, hey, you're not going to tell him what to say. So they bleeped it out. So I think it was like they recorded it, but I think they told him, you have to say this. So we know now, finally, it's confirmed. That's what MFT stands for.
That's sick. Oh, great.
Right?
I mean, I think that's what you need, especially for those two, because you want to have them. You don't want to just be like, this means so much to our family. You want to be like,
my family tree.
Yeah. You want us to be like, we're fucking dogs. Let's go. I still think the biggest like pop they ever got was when the MFTs first came out in Perth against the Wyatt Six. That was, and we did like the holy shit chants because it felt like that at the time.
It made sense.
It was so sick, and then no, they did their thing. You
know what I've also noticed is that I've noticed that Tamatonga doesn't do his yeah. I feel like he hasn't done it in ages, and I want that.
I want that back.
Oh, I actually really enjoyed that actually. So
actually, I really like that. It's one of my favorites.
I really like that actually. So maybe I'll message him or something. Or call Roman Reigns. Call Roman Reigns.
Tell him to do yeah.
Tell him to do the yeah stuff.
Siri reading it back to you. Yeah. Send? Yes.
Yes, thank you. Blake Monroe was meant to have a debut match on SmackDown against Julia, but it didn't even start. She attacks Julia from behind. Classic heel behavior. It feels like this debut of Blake Monroe has been stretched out the longest.
Yeah, I don't know what the plan was. I don't know what the plan is.
So she's been in backstage segments in the background, and then she's kind of been there, and then they've been playing video, promos.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wonder if there was a plan for her to go against like Tiffy or a Jordan Grace or something, but injuries have gotten in the way. So I think they're just looking for a good baby face for her to get feud with. Give her Io Sky.
Io Sky's not doing anything, and you know what? We love Io Sky on this show.
Give Io Sky the IC title and then have Blake Monroe come up, and that's their first feud.
Hey, man, booking the damn territory, Lachy McIntyre.
Look in the damn territory, of course.
But Big Cass, we saw his debut, his first
Cass.
match. Big Cass! yes, him. His first match in, God knows how long, maybe 10 years or whatever. Defeating Javon Evans. Did you catch his entrance?
No.
His entrance was kind of dope, actually. It was like, that was shot really well. I mean, it was kind of generic theme song, but the camera angles and the lighting and everything, I was kind of rocking with it. Have you been also been paying attention to Corey Graves' involvement on commentary?
That's honestly the most I've heard about Big Cass. A lot of the times when Big Cass comes on the screen, it's a bit of skipping through, to be honest.
Yeah, it is a little bit of that. He's kind of very passive. He just lets it go to, like, Michael Cole, you can handle this.
Yeah, speaking of orange angry man, Jesus, the tan on him. Yeah, it's a weird one with Big Cass because it feels like they are just bringing a lot of like big evil men to do big evil men things. I guess that's always a good thing to have.
Yeah,
but I think that can run cold pretty quickly. Is he still wrestling in fucking like jeans?
Yeah, jeans and Timberlands. Yeah, he wrestled in that this week. He actually used that Timberland to choke out Javon Evans. He was stepping on his throat.
He's stealing Shad's whole flow.
Oh, rest in peace, man.
Jeans
He was. And shout out to JTG, matter of fact, as well. That's actually, at what point, surely we're getting close to a JTG return at some point. You know, it's been that long.
It's still one of those ones you look back on and it's such a beloved tag team. But my God, we're going to name you Crime Time and it's going to be spelled with Y's. And we want you to be a couple of criminal thugs, if that's all right.
Yeah. That is, hey, you know, we started this episode talking about some Vince shit, and looks like we're going to end the show talking about some Vince shit.
Oh, such good shit.
Yeah, man. I feel like we've covered everything. Is there anything that I may have missed that happened?
I like that Danhausen is back to backstage segments.
He's on the back burner for now.
Not because I dislike him. I actually enjoyed him from his first entrance.
Yes.
But I think...
Oh, from day one?
From day one. I was like...
Wow, you're in the minority for that one. I was like, what the hell is this?
But I think he is appealing because he pops up in these random moments. And sometimes WWE can take something that's good in small doses and go, here, have all of it at once. So I think that's good when it's in these small doses because that's what got him over. He got over from like 30-second interviews,
and it'll come back around as well. You know, it's inevitable. You know, whether it's with the Judgment Day or whoever,
the right
thing will come back around. Exactly that. Hey, look, let's get out of here. Let's go home. Make sure, listen, if you've made it this far, we appreciate you. Give us a follow on Instagram. Also, don't forget we are on YouTube. You can see our ugly little mugs on there while you're doing something in the background. I don't know, whatever it is you want to do. And don't forget to get your tickets to PWA The Climb. It goes down at Liberty Hall. Probably by the time listening to this tonight, Friday the 28th, you can catch The Influence taking on Mana and Manoush, my boy Lachy McIntyre. Appreciate you for being here. Any final words for, I guess, the marks that listen to this or Mana and Manoush?
Best of luck to Mana and Manoush. I hope the hospital bill isn't too high. And tomorrow I'm looking forward to being the only undefeated wrestler in PWA history, not including losses.
Hey, man, excited to see that one, boy. Appreciate you again, man.
Thanks, brother.